Hello, my name is Daisy Camacho, and today we'll be talking about the teacher strike of 2018 and 2019. First, we'll be talking about the value of our teachers. Teachers are an important part of our community across the United States, and they are also what make our future generations of the country be what they're going to be. They are the motivators for our future doctors, our future lawyers, and our future presidents and political members, and they're just not being appreciated as such. They take care of our children and students for 8 hours a day, 5 days out of the week. Teachers don't just teach students, but they care for them as well. They motivate our students to be better, and in some cases they even become mentors to our students. Their job is not easy as some people may think. They have 20 to 30 students in a classroom, and that number is growing because classes are being overgrown. They don't have the funds to teach those students that amount of students altogether. They do need help. They can't give one-on-one teachings to the students because they just don't have the time because they have so many students. And they do have a responsibility to those students, and they need to teach those students statewide standards with standardized tests so those students could pass them no matter what struggles they are facing, and they are being underappreciated. The first strike that happened was in 2018, and it was of the state of West Virginia. The protest started with their teachers and their supporters. It was about 20,000 classroom teachers and other few supporting staff, other few thousand supporting staff as well. And they were teachers from across all 55 counties, and they also closed down schools. The protesters would protest in Charleston, and they will protest in front of the Capitol building, and sometimes even take over it. Regarding one of the days of the 9 days that they protested, one of the high school teachers by the name of Tiffany Jones said the energy was palpable, and the enthusiasm could be felt across generations of educators. They did succeed to get a 5% increase in their salaries for teachers and public employees as well. The reasons for their strikes. First reason was low salaries for teachers and other school employees. Teachers' pay is down by 11% nationally. There is a big gap between our educated teachers and other educated workers, according to research done by Sylvia Allegretto of UC Berkeley and Lawrence Mitchell of the Economic Policy Institute. Female teachers earn 15.6 less than other female educators, and male teachers earn about 26.8% less than other educated males. Even though teachers do get good benefits, those benefits do not outweigh the difference in the salary. In some states, teachers even have to have other jobs or other ways of income to be able to have a living in that country or even build a family. Here is a graph of how you can see the difference in what teachers make compared to other workers. As you can see, men do have a negative 26.8% in compared to other workers, and women do have a 15.6% compared to other workers as well. The overall is just in the middle, and it is about 15-16% less compared to other educated workers. Another reason for the strike is low school funding. Not only do our teachers fighting for their own personal salaries, they are also fighting for school funding for the students and for the students to be able to get the education that they deserve. Some teachers are getting their school funds cut, and they don't have the right resources to give the students the education that they need. In Oklahoma, for example, since 2008, there has been an increase in students by 54,000 students, but the number of supporting staff has fallen by 341. Teachers, school funds don't just cover field trips. They don't just cover materials that students need. They also cover the salaries of the other employees in schools, like the secretaries or the attendance secretaries or the people that keep the records or counselors and counselors or things like that. And those are supporting staff that teachers need and students need to be able to succeed. In the last 4 years, Oklahoma has also cut fine art classes and music classes as well. These classes are another reason that students can motivate themselves to go to school and motivate themselves to be something other that doesn't have the conventional classes like math, English, science, and things like that. The last reason that they were protesting was oversized classes with no aid. So teachers are experiencing, as I mentioned before, they're experiencing more students in their classes every year. They went from having 20 to 25 students to having 25 to 30 to 35 students all in one. And that is a lot of students for just one person. That is a lot of kids to take care of for just one person. And like I've mentioned before, they are taking care of these kids for 8 hours out of the day and 5 days out of the week. It also affects students in their education because having so many students, a teacher cannot teach just one kid that needs extra help when out of those 20 kids, maybe 30 kids don't understand. Out of those 20 kids, maybe 10 kids don't understand, and she needs to go, or they need to go and teach, maybe one-on-one with those kids because they're scared to ask questions, or maybe they weren't paying attention, and they need to go over what they were teaching, but they can't do that. They can't give them the education that they need or the one-on-one time that they need because they have so many other students that they need to take care of as well. Having interns or teaching aides can help this because then students won't have just one person to go to. If they need help with something, they have another person that could be there as well. And sometimes it's not about whether they don't get a certain math problem or whether they can't read a certain word or spell a certain word. Sometimes students need that one-on-one time with their teachers because sometimes teachers are somebody that students can confide in when it comes to having a difficult life at home, or whether they just need an adult to talk to that's not their parents. They usually confide in their teachers, or if they don't have their teacher, they could confide in an intern or a teaching aide. Other states that followed West Virginia's footsteps after seeing that West Virginia did get a 5% increase in salaries and other school fundings were the states of Arizona, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Kentucky. In late May of 2018, North Carolina had statewide walkouts. Some of these protests won significant gains in teacher salaries and school funding, while others just had political promises done, but nothing ever happened. In my personal opinion of the teacher strikes was, I'm a total supporter of them. I believe that teachers should fight for their own salaries and should fight for their rights to earn more money and for more school funding. Teachers are an important part. Their degree is just something more than a degree. A teacher doesn't just become a teacher to earn money. They become teacher because they want to help their students. They want to see future generations succeed. After seeing the big gap that teachers have compared to other educated workers, it's not fair because teachers are making a difference in students' lives. Teachers are a big part of our communities, and they're just not being paid as such. They are being undervalued, and the government isn't giving them what they need to be able to succeed with our students. I have experienced firsthand taking care of 25 to 35 students, and it is a lot of work. It's not just easy peasy as some people may think. And during this pandemic, we can see that firsthand parents are struggling to teach their kids because they don't have the education or the teaching methods that teachers have to be able to teach a kid how to learn, write, how to read, how to teach them history, how to teach them things that they will need in the future, and things that the education that they need to be receiving. And the government doesn't see that, and teachers are not being appreciated as they should. Another thing is the teachers also deserve to have proper resources to teach these kids and to give them the right education that a kid should have in the United States. For some students, it's important to have fine arts classes and music classes because that is a motivation for them to go to school, to continue their education, and to see that there is more options to just having a career in English and math or in science. For a kid who's not good at math or who's not good at English, those classes could give them a new light into what their future could be if they do like to do those things, and give them the motivation that they can achieve things without being focused on math and reading and science. Teachers deserve to have teachers that's just like students deserve to have that extra school funding. Teachers work all year long. Students work all year long to be able to go up the next grade, or to have their kids go up the next grade, and they need to have that extra school funding because maybe they do need extra computers, they do need more money for resources at their school, and they're just not receiving them. Sometimes a field trip here and there can also help kids in exploring and increasing their education, because a lot of kids don't just learn by seeing and hearing. They need to be there. They need to see what other things have to offer. And in my opinion, teachers are an other right to do a strike, because they do deserve to get that extra pay and to get that extra school funding. Not extra, because they're not getting enough. They deserve to have enough school funding and to earn enough to make a living in the country, in the state that they are living in. And because they are giving students motivation, they are teaching our future generations, our future doctors, our future lawyers, our future political members, and the government is just not appreciating them. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.